Are you prepared to investigate the unstoppable force that has completely revolutionized the field of project management? That's awesome, because today we're going to go deeply into the fast-paced and action-packed world of Agile. Agile is not only a technique, rather, it is a continually developing mindset that has shaken the fundamental pillars upon which corporate operations are conducted all over the world. Stay tuned, as we are going to discuss the whys and hows of the Agile methodology. Get ready to absorb up all the secrets of simplifying procedures and supercharging productivity. It's about to get intense. No more waiting, and no more anarchy. Not even Agile. What exactly is meant by Agile? The Agile technique is a means of managing projects that involves dividing them up into a number of different stages. It requires ongoing communication and coordination with the many stakeholders, in addition to continual development at each level. As soon as they get started, teams immediately go into a process that involves planning, carrying out, and reviewing their work. One of the ways in which Agile technique may be implemented is called Scrum, during which the client receives incremental builds about once every 2 to 3 weeks. The fundamentals of the Agile approach. Individuals and social interactions take precedence over procedures and apparatus. Software that actually works favored above exhaustive documentation. Collaboration with the customer prior to contract negotiation. Adapting to new circumstances while sticking to a game plan. Individuals and social interactions take precedence over procedures and apparatus. The importance of each need in the project is determined by how many sprints it is allocated to. As a result, there is only a limited amount of requirements that are required to go through each life cycle of software development for one sprint. Software that actually works favored above exhaustive documentation. The client will be able to get fully functional software or products at the conclusion of each sprint. We refer to this kind of product as a shippable one. Collaboration with the customer prior to contract negotiation. Within the framework of this system, client engagement is present throughout each step of the life cycle. Because of this, both the client and the development team will have complete visibility into the requirements. Additionally, consumers are able to confirm that the project is moving in the proper direction. Adapting to new circumstances while sticking to a game plan. At the conclusion of each sprint, the customer reviews the product that can be sent. Following the completion of the evaluation, the client provides feedback, during which they discuss the aspects that need modification and the aspects that warrant enhancement. As a result, the development team will be able to implement such modifications and enhancements at the beginning of the subsequent sprint. Therefore, the speed with which this technique responds to the comments and suggestions of customers is high. Product owner in various roles. Specifying the features and the needs for the project. Establishing both the publication date and the material to be distributed. The outcome of the effort might be accepted or rejected. The master of Scrum. Maintain the interconnections between each of the roles. Ensure that there are no bottlenecks in the project's workflow. Ensure that the project is made available on the appropriate date. Workforce in development. The development team is responsible for all of the other responsibilities. Check that the project's concept, implementation, and testing are all carried out correctly. Backlog for documentation and products. Backlog of products. The product backlog is a list of all of the features that need to be completed before the product can be considered finished. The product owner may now prioritize the feature list whichever he sees fit at this point. A user story is what we call each individual item in the product backlog. The following considerations need to be taken into account whenever one is constructing a user narrative. Various kinds of user roles are referred to as roles. Action. The user role was required to perform the specified action. The advantage obtained as a result of carrying out that particular activity. The following is an example of how a user narrative should be formatted. I want to take action in my role so that benefit may come about. Queue of user stories for the sprint. Backlog for the sprint. The items that have been chosen by the development teams from the product backlog to be worked on in the forthcoming sprint are referred to as the sprint backlog. In most cases, the team will reach a consensus on these matters during the sprint planning session that they conduct. In point of fact, the sprint backlog is the key output that stems from the sprint planning process. The whole Agile team, including the Scrum Master, the product owner, and the members of the development team, will share responsibility of the sprint backlog in accordance with the principles outlined in the Scrum framework. This is due to the fact that at the beginning of each sprint, each member of the team will bring their own specific set of expertise and ideas to the project. The word task or issue refers to each individual item in the sprint backlog. There is a status to monitor for each individual job, such as to do, in progress, ready for staging, in staging, done, and cancelled. It is necessary for every member of the development team who is working on the particular assignment to bring their current state up to date. Chart of the burndown. Chart of the burndown. Agile teams collect data on the amount of work they have finished on a project as well as the amount of work that remains to be completed within a certain amount of time using a tool called a burndown chart. Scrum teams refer to this time period as a sprint. Agile teams make use of this straightforward and visually appealing tool in order to evaluate how their project is developing within the allotted amount of time as well as how much work has been completed throughout each iteration. The following characteristics may be seen while looking at the burndown chart. The total amount of work completed in each cycle. Performed to completion. The task that remains. Ending times and dates. Through the use of the burndown chart, it is possible to swiftly identify any potential issues with the process. These issues may be fixed, and then the appropriate steps can be taken to bring the project back on track so that it can be completed. Teams may see what they have previously completed in a project via the use of a burndown chart, which serves as an additional motivation for the teams. Ceremonies or meetings regarding the planning of Agile sprints. Stand-ups every day. Sprint planning, sprint review, sprint retrospective, sprint planning, sprint. The planning of sprints. The purpose of the meeting, known as sprint planning, is to ensure that all members of the team are aware of the objective of the project, and also to examine the means by which they may be accomplished. This meeting is attended by the complete team, including both the product owner and the Scrum Master. Developers are also present. Stand-ups every day. Daily standing meetings. The daily stand-up is a brief meeting that is planned to last for 15 to 20 minutes. This meeting is attended by the complete team, including both the product owner and the Scrum Master. Developers are also present. During this meeting, each member of the team is responsible for providing a response based on the questions that are listed below. What did I get up to the day before? What plans do I have for the day? Do I have any obstacles that prevent me from continuing my work? Review of the sprints. Review in a hurry. At the meeting known as Sprint Review, developers and other stakeholders get together for the purpose of receiving feedback from the stakeholders on the things that the developers have done throughout the sprint. Sprint debriefing and reflection. A look back at the sprints. During this last Scrum ceremony in the series, you reflect on the job you've just completed and think about ways in which you might do things more effectively in the future. The sprint retrospective is a method that may be used to reduce potential risks in subsequent sprints.